Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh, and in today's video, I'm just going to be discussing some more pop culture things and some things that have transpired over the last week. So, post the presidential debate, which for those of you who aren't from North America or for those of you who aren't obsessed with politics, we just had the primary presidential debate in which the two political parties candidates debated. So that debate just took place. After the presidential debate, Taylor Swift went to Instagram to voice her opinion and publicly announce that she will not be voting for Donald Trump in this upcoming election. I was kind of shocked that she would openly say that she's not going to vote for Donald Trump, but I was more openly shocked at the fact that she said she was going to instead vote for Kamala. Now, personally, I am a firm believer that Taylor Swift is 100% for like gay rights and women's rights and all of that. So I do believe that her as a person is 100% for these things. But I was kind of shocked at the fact that she would publicly endorse Kamala Harris, not only because a large chunk of her fan base is, I'd say, leans conservative or a little bit more conservative, but also the fact that she is actually stepping into the political space. Again, I haven't she hasn't really put out anything publicly about her political opinions or anything like that. So this is the first time we're actually seeing from Taylor Swift like her blatant out there, hey, I support this person, not this person political opinion. So I'm not shocked that she chose Kamala. And the reason why is because earlier this month there were AI generated images of Taylor Swift showing support or endorsing Donald Trump going viral on Twitter and all over the internet pretty much. And of course, these were false AI images. They were generated without her consent. So I think honestly, her team and herself, she was probably like really shocked and taken aback, especially because Donald Trump himself was pretty much passing these images off on Truth Social, and his followers were passing them around, pretty much being like, "Oh my God, Taylor Swift is a Trump supporter. She's a Trump fan." Of course, again, these images were generated without her consent. She didn't consent to these images. They weren't real images. They were AI generated images that somebody made. So I think her publicly saying that she's not going to vote for Donald Trump in this upcoming election is pretty much just her saying that she's not cool with somebody generating AI images of her showing support for one candidate over the other. But I also personally think that she, as a person, I think she is for women's rights, and I also think that she's for gay rights, and that's something that at least Trump's side of the conservative party just he isn't really he's not very supportive of, or he isn't really a huge fan of. But I don't want to make this video about politics. I'm not trying to make this into a political talk piece. I just wanted to come on here and talk about the fact that she is endorsing Kamala. Now, do I think if those images would not have been shared or would not have been created and spread around the internet like crazy, do I think she would have done this? No. I don't think she would have said anything political, quite frankly, because Taylor Swift, she plays a very safe game. She likes to be middle of the road. She doesn't like to really lean too far in either direction, which I'm going to be honest is not a bad thing. I don't think that celebrities or honestly influencers should be giving their political opinions out. And I don't think that just because Taylor Swift is voting for X president over Y, that should, sway your vote. And so, in addition to that, after the presidential debate, Bryce Hall also came out and he actually did show his support, but he showed his support for Donald Trump. He actually went to a Trump rally and he spoke at Trump's rally. Out of all people, Bryce Hall, again, I don't know what it is about this year or like this year specifically where it's like people feel like celebrities and public figures and influencers need to share their political opinions, but I think it's just unserious. Like, you're a celebrity, you're a public figure, you're an influencer, you're not a politician. Like, we don't need to know who you're going to vote for. I don't think anybody on the internet should know who you're going to be voting for, especially when you're a celebrity or a public figure. So I think him just doing this is just unserious, and honestly, kind of, I'm going to be blunt, I think it's kind of just a cheap tactic for him to just, again, catch more clout, catch more fame from the more right-leaning conservative fan base. And I'm sorry, but I don't think we should be taking political advice from celebrities. Like, I don't think just because your favorite influencer or celebrity said, hey, I'm going to vote for this person this election, that you should follow them. Like, we need to do our own research. We need to look into these political candidates' beliefs and their previous actions and what they stand for and what they want to change in the country. I don't think we should just be voting for Kamala or Donald just because Bryce Hall and Taylor Swift say so. Like, we need to do our own research. And I just think it's unserious that they have pretty much pressured celebrities into voicing their opinions. There are certain things that I think celebrities should voice their opinions on, like, for example, the genocide going on over in Gaza and the Palestinian genocide. I think that celebrities who do voice their opinions on that and show support of Palestine, I'm okay with that, because that isn't a political tactic. That's not saying, oh, cast your vote for X or Y. That's just them saying, I am in support of Palestine. I am in support of the Palestinian people. And so I think that that's different than just saying, oh, I'm going to vote for X, I'm going to vote for this person, or I'm going to vote for that person. Again, I don't think we should be hearing that from celebrities. I don't think celebrities should be sharing that information publicly. I'm sorry, but you're a celebrity. Like, I don't expect to take political advice from a celebrity in the same way that I don't expect to take law advice from a plumber. Like, it's just unserious. And I feel like this whole discourse around forcing celebrities to share their political beliefs and opinions needs to stop. They're celebrities, they're influencers, they're not politicians, they don't float in that sphere, they're not in that circle. Let's stop this overlap, like the merging and the just like converging of the political and celebrity sphere. I'm not a fan of it. Like, I don't want to see it, and I think it's just unserious, and I'm sorry, but I'm not here for it. So the next thing that I want to talk about is Meghan Markle. There was just an expose posted on the New York Times about how Meghan Markle apparently belittles her staff and makes, according to them, it describes Meghan Markle as a dictator who, quote unquote, terrifies staff and has reduced grown men to tears. Meghan Markle and Harry have kind of been out of the limelight for a hot minute now. The last time they were really like in the limelight was with that Oprah Winfrey interview where she was like,
were you silent or were you silenced?
Now that the New York Times is posting this expose, is not really them trying to like shed light on anything that's really truly like gritty or bad. I think it's just them just trying to shed light on Meghan Markle and Harry. So honestly, do I really have any thoughts on this? Not really. I'm gonna be blunt. I don't really have any thoughts or opinions on that. I think the article is a little unserious. I think it's unimportant. Like, okay, she's mean to her staff. At this point, what celebrity isn't? Like, I feel like there isn't a single like celebrity or person on the face of the earth who has a staff who hasn't or isn't mean to their staff on a regular basis or isn't. I feel like Meghan Markle and Harry saw this article and they were like, ooh, yeah, this will get us some headlines. Like, okay, Meghan Markle is mean to her staff. Next. Like, I'm sorry, but it's uninteresting. I'm sorry, but it is. Like, I'm uninterested. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I'm uninterested. Okay, so the next topic I want to talk about is Megan Thee Stallion addressed her beef with Nicki Minaj. So on an article posted to Variety, Megan Thee Stallion talked about her beef with Nicki Minaj. So pretty much Megan Thee Stallion came out and said that she doesn't even know why or what started the beef between her and Nicki Minaj and why they're even still to this day beefing. And I'm going to be honest with you, I see where she's coming from clearly, but as someone who was previously a Barb and as someone who likes them both equally, if you ask me, what started this beef and what caused this beef was the fact that Megan Thee Stallion decided to make several songs that were hit songs with Cardi is kind of where this beef came out, because originally Nicki and Megan were or appeared to be friends, like they had done lives together and all that. And so they put out the Hot Girl Summer remix, which was Megan and Nicki. They put out the Hot Girl Summer remix. And then after that, Megan Thee Stallion put out WAP with Cardi B. She's also since then put out Bongos. And pretty much after their collab on Hot Girl Summer, I kind of see where the divide may have happened, or I kind of see why Nicki started beefing with Megan. Because again, Megan started collabing with Cardi. For those of you who don't know, Nicki and Cardi, their beef has been continuous since like the late 2010s. So I think Nicki kind of saw Megan collabing with Cardi B as kind of like her like indirectly shading her, or kind of like, you're working with my like arch nemesis pretty much. I think that rubbed Nicki the wrong way, but I mean, it's the music industry, so I kind of see why she would collab with Cardi B. Again, it's the music industry. I'm pretty sure Megan's label was like, work with Cardi B. Like, she was popping off in the moment. Like, Megan was popping off, Cardi was popping off. So I feel like a collab between those two, I don't think it was Megan trying to shade Nicki. I think it was Megan just trying to stay hot, stay on top of the charts, and, keep the hits coming in. The label wanted hits, so she worked with Cardi B, they got another hit. I think that's what it was, but I think that rubbed Nicki Minaj the wrong way, and I think she took it personally. And I think instead of reaching out to Meghan and being like, hey, why would you collab with her? Like, my whole beef with her. She just kind of took it way too personally. And then following the Hot Girl Summer remix, she put out Red Ruby the Sleaze, in which she has a lyric in that song that says, quote unquote, I ain't fucked with horses since Christopher Reeves, which pretty much the internet said, oh, she's taking shots at Meghan because Meghan a stallion is a horse. So she pretty much just kind of, threw shots at Meghan. And that was back in 2023. Earlier this year, Megan Thee Stallion put out Hiss, in which she said the line, quote unquote, these hoes ain't mad at Megan, they mad at Megan's law, which honestly wasn't a direct shot at Nicki Minaj. If you ask me, I think Megan was more so taking shots at Drake, because Drake was pretty much a very vocal, his opinion that the whole Tory Lanez situation was fake and that Tory Lanez wasn't actually the one who shot Megan Thee Stallion. And so if you ask me, and my view on the whole situation was that bar, first of all, I don't think it was a shot directly at Nicki. I think it was just a shot either at Drake or just like a catchy verse. Like, these hoes ain't mad at Megan, these hoes mad at Megan's law. Like, her name is Megan Thee Stallion. There just so happened to be a Megan's law, like a law that had her name in it. It's kind of like her saying, if her name was Murphy the Stallion, these hoes ain't mad at Murphy, they mad at Murphy's law. Like, I feel like it may have just been one of those where it's just like, ooh, that's catchy, that's a fire verse, and then it's like indirectly throwing shots at the rap industry as a whole, because there are several rappers who are like convicted, like, they are convicted, like they went to jail over this kind of stuff. So I don't think she was directly trying to take shots at Nicki, because again, Nicki put out Red Ruby the Sleaze back in 2023. It had been a whole new year before Megan took shots at Nicki Minaj and with that line. And I don't think she really meant to take shots at Nicki. I think what happened was Nicki heard this and she immediately thought it was about her. I think she just took it personally, kind of like how she took Megan collabing with Cardi personally. I don't think that Megan actually intended that to be a shot at Nicki. I just think Nicki kind of jumped in front of the bullet and said, how dare you take shots at me? And then after that, she kind of spiraled. She had the whole live stream.
And I know you listening right now, you fragment foot bitch.
She put out that Bigfoot diss track, which was, I'm sorry, but as a Nicki fan and as someone who would have previously called themselves a barb, I'm sorry, but that Bigfoot diss track was just, it was really bad. Like, it was really bad. And the reason why it was so bad is because she pretty much showed the whole diss track. She pretty much released the whole thing on Twitter. And then she puts out the diss track, and it's pretty much nothing more than an extended cut of what she's already put out on Twitter. And then she's got like I think 1 to 2 minute TED talk at the end. And it's like, I felt so embarrassed, because I'm like, as someone who had been a Nicki Minaj fan, and again, someone who would have called themselves a barb up until that point, it was embarrassing, because it's like, you're Nicki Minaj. Like, you can do better than this. You are better than this. Like, you have written so many iconic clapbacks, and you have so many iconic like lines, bars, raps. Why are you stepping this low? Like, and the fact that she went on Twitter and she was tweeting like crazy, like, let the pen speak for you. And I feel like that's where she went wrong. And I feel like that's what honestly just kind of turned me off from calling myself a barb, is the whole live stream and her just spiraling on Twitter. Like, put the phone down, pick up the pen, and get writing. Like, that's what I feel like she should have done. But instead we got what we got. And I'm sorry, but it wasn't good. But again, I don't think that Megan was directly trying to take shots at Nicki with that verse. I think she was just trying to make a catchy lyric or just throw shots at everyone. I don't think it was really intended directly for Nicki Minaj. I think Nicki Minaj just took it way too personally, and she thought it was about her, and she was kind of being a little self-centered and a little selfish in the moment. I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. And again, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm just talking, like, I'm just speculating. Maybe she did intend for it to be a shot at Nicki Minaj. But either way, like, the fact that Megan Thee Stallion has come out and said that she doesn't even know what they're beefing about or why they even started beefing in the first place, to me that kind of sounds like that lyric wasn't intended for Nicki Minaj. That verse was not intended as a shot at Nicki Minaj. I think Nicki took Meghan collabing with Cardi personally, and I think Nicki definitely took shots at Meghan with that Christopher Reeves verse she put out in Red Ruby the Sleaze, and I think Meghan kind of brushed it off and said, "Oh, okay, cool, whatever." I don't think Meghan wanted to clap back. I don't think she really cared. I think she just said, "Oh, okay, haha, funny, whatever." And I think she just brushed it off, and then she put out her diss track, which, again, I don't think she was taking shots at Nicki Minaj. I think that was more intended towards Drake and people like that, people who were calling her out of her name, but yet it's like, look at you, you're a convicted, R word. Like, I think that's what she was intending. Or again, it was just a catchy lyric. She pretty much just came out and said that she doesn't know why they're beefing, she doesn't know why the beef started, and she doesn't know how it can be reconciled. Which, I mean, yeah, at this point, especially after the whole like calling her a fragment foot and saying that, how you get shot with no scar and all those things, like, it was a very dark day for us like Nicki fans. I didn't like the way she was talking about Meghan, because it's like, instead of standing by another woman, you're now taking the place and you're now standing beside all these deniers, all these people who are calling Meghan every word under the sun and saying that she faked the whole thing for clout and that Tory Lanez didn't shoot her and all these things. And you're pretty much taking their side. Like, instead of standing by someone who you did collab with, and again, another woman, you're taking the man's side. And Tory Lanez, of all people, like, it was just very inappropriate for her to just saying how you get shot with no scars, pretty much just aligning yourselves with these people. And I'm sorry, but I don't like that. I don't align myself with that, and I'm not going to agree with that, because I do think it was Tory Lanez who did in fact shoot Megan Thee Stallion. Like, there's a reason why Tory Lanez is behind bars right now. Like, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. Like, it went to court, it went to trial, Tory Lanez got found guilty. What else do you need? Like, and so I feel like her saying what she did in her diss track was just gross, and I'm sorry, it was inappropriate and disgusting, quite frankly. And I hate to see her act like that. I hated to have to see her act like that, because, again, as someone who is still a Nicki Minaj fan, it was just bad. Again, it was just a really dark day. But anyways, speaking more about Nicki Minaj, she has unveiled that she is not going to be releasing a Pink Friday 2 Deluxe album, and that instead she's going to be putting out Pink Friday 3, because apparently she has enough songs for a whole new album. Which, I mean, I'm sat. Like, I'm sat for it. I'm honestly 10 toes down for a whole new album from Nicki Minaj. Hopefully it'll be better than Pink Friday 2, because, again, if you saw my last video, you'll know I didn't like Pink Friday 2. I'm sorry, I like one or two songs on that whole album, and the rest of it, you can just throw the whole thing away if you ask me. She just said that it's not going to be releasing this year, it'll be releasing next year. I think it's good. I think it's good that she is stepping back into the studio. She's getting off of Twitter for a little bit, and I'm honestly interested to hear what else she's got coming down the pipeline. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I'm kind of intrigued. Again, hopefully it's better than Pink Friday 2, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Also discussing the music industry and stuff like that, Cardi B is also putting out a new album. She recently went to Twitter. She posted a tweet that was pretty much saying that she had an album coming. And Cardi B hasn't posted an album in years. Like, it's been so long since we've gotten a Cardi B album, and we really haven't seen much of Cardi B. Like, we haven't seen her on tour or anything else like that. Granted, she's been pregnant for most of the time and since her last album, so of course she probably couldn't tour due to health reasons, and again, she was pregnant. So, I give her grace for that, and I give her, grace and all that for that. But we haven't really seen much of her. Like, she's put out a few singles here and there, but we haven't really seen another album. Like, we've all been wondering, where's the Cardi album? Where's the next Cardi album? And some fans online were actually speculating that that's why Nicki Minaj kept moving around the Pink Friday 2 release date, was because she was trying to throw Cardi B. She was trying to throw Cardi B off track, because Cardi B and Nicki, there's like this history of them like releasing at the same time to kind of block each other. So I'm honestly looking forward to Cardi's album too. I'm very excited to hear what else Cardi can put out, because it's been so long and we haven't really seen much of Cardi B. And I feel like the longer she waits to put out this album, the more she's going to fade into obscurity. Like, okay, cool, she can put out a hit song every now and then, but where's the album? It's kind of the same thing with Normani. Like, where's the album? Like, we've been waiting, like, put out something new. Like, we're eager, the fans are eager. And so I feel like she has to release next year at this point, especially since Nicki Minaj is releasing at this point. Like, there's never going to be a better chance than next year. Like, put that album out next year. Nicki's releasing next year. That's your biggest op. Like, that's your arch enemy right there. Put out your album. Like, let's do it. Like, let's get the music going. Let's get the fans hyped up. Like, I feel like if she does put out this album next year, which I hope she does, it'll be good. And I'm interested to see what's gonna happen, because again, Nicki and Cardi releasing albums in the same year, like, I hope we're about to get some good music out of this, because I'm gonna be honest, the rap girlies have kind of been lacking the past year. Like, I'm sorry, but the music's been good, but it hasn't been as good as it could be. And like, I feel like the beefs and the drama within the female rap community have just like, they have pretty much killed the opportunity for the fans to get some awesome music collabs. Like, can you imagine a collab between Nicki and Cardi, or a collab between Nicki, Cardi, and Meghan? Like, that would top the charts. These beefs and these like fights and these like discourses between female artists, especially within the rap community, has just kind of ruined that for us. Like, we don't get the opportunity to get this awesome music that we could get. And so I'm really excited to see what Nicki and Cardi put out next year. I also heard rumors online that Meghan is supposed to be coming out with her next album, hopefully next year, because that would be great. Like, 3 of the top female rappers putting out albums, like, oh my god, like, nothing better in the world. Like, that would be so sick. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. Cardi, you got to put out that music. Like, it's been years since we've heard a last album from you. Like, I know I'm hungry for it. I know the fans are hungry for it. Put out the music. And again, Nicki Minaj is releasing next year. Never a better time. Like, come on, just like, let's get in the studio. Let's get them beats going. Let's get some bars written. Like, there's never going to be a better opportunity for her to release music, if you ask me. So that's my take on that. And so that brings us to our last topic. Our last topic is going to be Beyonce. A lot of people were saying that Beyonce might have been snubbed at the Country Music Awards, which, I mean, that may or may not have happened. If it did happen, are we surprised? It's the Country Music Awards. Like, of course they're going to snub Beyonce. Be serious. But I'm not surprised that she didn't get any nominations or any awards at the CMAs. It's the CMAs. Like, we don't even know if she submitted in the first place, to be honest. So this whole thing that she was snubbed, we don't even know if that's true. Like, she may have submitted, she may not have submitted. And if she did submit, then okay, yeah, she was snubbed. But are we really surprised? Like, no, we're not. I think Cowboy Carter is a great album, but again, I'm not surprised. It's Beyonce. Of course they're not going to give her any nominations. It's the Country Music Awards. Of course they're going to give it all to Morgan Wallen and Post Malone. I don't even think they gave Shabuzi anything. Like, and he had one of the biggest like country songs of the year. So he's actually up for 2 CMA awards. But anyways, that is going to be the end of this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.